My name is Andres Santos. I'm the web architect for SemaxGo, and in this video we will cover the topics for the translator, user, and role. If you are a developer, you are very welcome to see and watch this video so that you can understand and see how exactly the labels are going to be changed from now on and in the new versions of SemaxGo. Alright, in this video we will cover only what is specific to the translator role, and we will cover the topics of how to set up a new application to be translated, how to set up a new language configuration, how to mass download labels, how to mass upload labels, how to add single labels, and how to modify translations. In order to get access to the translation tool, you will need to have a translator role. So the first thing you have to have is to get a correct user for SemaxGo and ensure that the configuration for the user contains the translation role, which technically is Semax props. Alright, once you have your user created and everything is on its place, you can go ahead to the server status.linux.net. This server status.linux.net is only intended for development, QA, and QA2 environments. Additional environments such as pre-production and production will be added in this same Confluence page below here. And because we are started with this configuration, we only have development and QA environments. Expect those for the future and to be added here. Alright, so I will go ahead and log in myself into the tool, and let's cover this according to the topics. We will see how to set up a new application to be translated. Alright, so basically the tool works with two main configurations. Those configurations can be searched here in the setup page of the tool. You can go ahead and change the URL to setup. Because at this moment right now the user provisioning team is still configuring the menu, we will have a new menu here that will allow you to change between screens. But right now you can go ahead and change those manually. Alright, these are the two main categories that you will need to fill in order to create the correct configuration for SemaxGo. So in the left box that you are seeing here, you will notice that the translator server is serving these applications. What applications? The user provisioning, the customer information, and the translation service. So this application is called translation service. That's why it is serving itself. So the application description is translation server that expose labels in different languages. We have the ID, the unique ID of the application. We have a technical name for those applications. The technical name is set up and is given to the teams when they approach and they plug their projects into the SemaxGo ecosystem. However, you can find them in the documentation if you go to the environment variables in Linux components. You can see how many of those technical names can be used. We have the technical mode, which I'm going to explain in a couple of minutes. And in the right box we have the available languages. Right now we have only one language, which is English, and this language is used in all the applications and can be accessed using the menu here. So as we only have one single language, in this case English, we also have one single language here, in this case of course English. So the first topic is how to create a new application. So basically it's pretty simple, straightforward. I'm gonna create a new application as if I would set up for the first time, let's say order taking. So I'm going to go to order taking. I'm gonna put the application name, order taking, application description, application to create orders and place orders. Application technical ID, as I explained before, I can go ahead and look at the documentation. This is also mentioned here, environment variables implements containers. I can go ahead and look for it here. And I can see that the order taking, it's orders and product. Maybe you didn't know this, but you can ask to your team what is the application technical name. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the application, and it is great, as you can see here. I'm gonna close this dialog box, and you can see that it's created here, the order taking application. So what it's needed additionally to this is to create additional languages, of course. So with this, I'm gonna go back here. With this, we covered the first topic, how to set up a new application to be translated. If you're a translator in a different country and when you watch this video you discover that there are lots of applications here, it's okay. You don't need to replicate those applications. We will need to create the application only once. For instance, I won't create a new translation service application because it's already created, and because we cannot repeat the translation service technical name in this case. So the next topic is how to set up a new language configuration. So this is very important. This is the angular stone of the translations and the localizations for different countries. So as you can see here, we have the language, as I explained before, one single language, which is English. Let's go ahead and create a new language. I'm going to create the language Spanish, but I'm going to write it in the native language. So the native language name is Espanol. The language ISO that I'm going to put here is SMX because it's Spanish Mexico. The language country, it's Mexico, of course. Right to left support, it means that does this language support putting the text to the right? I'm going to put no, it's to the left. The currency symbol for this language and for this country is this S sign. The currency symbol position in the case of Spanish is on the left. The currency name, it's peso. The format date, in this case, I'm going to use this format. The format time, I'm going to also use this format. Hour, minute, and seconds, separated by this. The decimal separator, in this case I'm going to use dot or point. Decimal numbers, I want to use 2 decimal numbers in this language. And the thousand separator, for this language I'm going to use a comma. And once you have everything fulfilled and populated correctly, you can just go ahead and create a new language. And you will receive app details saved correctly, created as Espanol. I'm going to close this. And you can see in the right box that we just created a new language, which is Espanol for Mexico. And its unique ID is, in this case, 9. If I go ahead and see the languages available, I will see that I have only English language, which is okay because I haven't updated the page. I'm gonna just refresh the page so that you can see that we now have a new language available. There you go, English and Spanish. So this is how fast we can deliver languages and different set of languages to different countries. Remember that the different configurations are separated from development QA, QA2, pre-production and production. So as we are working on development QA and QA2 environments, we can see this right away. So if you want to modify something, for instance, you say, all right, no, I was told that we will not use Espanol as its native language. We will use in English. Everything might be in English, Spanish. So I can just go ahead and as you can see here, it's already translated, and I can go ahead and see Spanish. Alright? Okay. But because I don't like this and I want to demonstrate everything as a real environment, I'm going to just go ahead and put everything on place. So English, Spanish, which is correct. So with this, we just created a new application to be configured, and we created a new language set to be set up. The next topic on the list is how to mass download labels. So let's translate our applications. Let's go to the home page of this site and see all the translations available. And because we already have some translations and we only have translations available right now in this example for one specific application, which is translation service. Translation service, remember, is this page that you are seeing. I'm gonna just go ahead and download the file. I'm gonna download the file, which is everything that is here. I'm gonna download it, and as you can see here, I just downloaded this file. I'm gonna open this in my computer. You can use a notepad, or you can use Word to make it editable. And for this case, I'm gonna use my editor that I'm using here, so that I can show you exactly what are the contents of this file. So the contents of this file is what you are seeing right now. It's a bunch of keys and IDs and a lot of the things that you see here. So I just gave format to it, and the keys are the technical names of the labels. Those you're not supposed to change, move, or modify. However, as you can see here, the translation or the real text, it's on the right. So you can go ahead and edit them. For instance, I already have an account in Spanish. It could be in Spanish. We also have this one. So imagine I just translated this, and I'm ready to upload everything. All right. I already have everything translated, so I'm gonna mass upload everything. So if you already have everything translated, just go ahead and press mass upload. Right. Let's just click it, and I already have this file translated, and it has the same format as you can see, JSON. Upload it. I will select the language I want to specify this application. In this case, the file that I'm uploading is in Spanish from Mexico, and I'm going to select the application. In this case, the application these translations belong to are for translation service. Then I'm gonna perform mass upload, and I will wait just a couple of seconds. Translations saved correct. So I'm gonna close this dialog, And if I go ahead and just refresh the page to make sure everything is updated, I'm gonna discover that I have now additional pages here. I have now 8 pages. So if I go ahead and select a specific language, for instance, I want to see only Spanish, I can filter Spanish here. If I want to select the language ISO, sorry, English, for instance, or Spanish, or if I want to see only the country for Mexico, and of course the translation. Alright, so what does it mean now that I mass download and then I just mass upload everything? I'm gonna put everything in Spanish so that you can see that it actually contains another language here. So it means that the applications can deliver faster translations and titles and labels into many languages that are to come. A demonstration for this is about to follow. So we already covered how to set up a new language configuration. We already covered how to mass download labels. We already covered how to mass upload labels. And now let's cover how to add single labels. So for instance, if I want to create a new label, let's say I'm a developer and I want to create just one single translation, I'm gonna just go ahead and add a translation key. For this example, I'm going to use a test key. The translation, let's say it should be test label. I'm gonna select the language which this label belongs to. Let's say it belongs to the English version, and I'm going to, of course, select the application translation service. I'm gonna create the translation, and it's already set. Let's close this dialog. And if you would like to add the same key in another language, just make sure that you use the same key, enter the translation, select the other language, and select the application. Okay. So the next topic will be how to modify a translation. Let's say, as I explained before, this application is also using its same translation service. So I'm going to filter this English version. I'm going to modify the translation. Okay. So let's just go ahead and look for the translation. I already know that it's on page 4. It's home. This translation type. I already know it's this one. But how can you know exactly what is the translation key that is using? Remember, it contains a translation key for technical purposes, and of course it contains the actual word that is going to be placed here. For that, we can go to the setup page and use the technical mode. If you activate the technical mode, it will show you the application with its technical label names. So I'm going to go ahead and use the technical mode, which is here. I'm going to activate it for the translation service, and it's going to be activated for 10 seconds. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and see that actually this label here, its technical name, it's test translation title views.home.test translation title. So I go to the page 4 and look for the views home test translation title. I know it's this one. So if I reload the page, because it's already been 10 seconds, I will receive only the actual translations. All right, so I want to modify that one because I don't know, maybe the title is not the best one, so I'm going to modify it. Translations, and let's say translation table. All right, and I know it's in English, and I know it's for the translation service. I'm going to modify it. Translation saved correctly, and I just need to reload the page and see that the change is made. Translation table. All right, and that is how fast, and that is how you can make sure that you are actually changing the correct and the real translation. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it back. Translations. Translation. And yeah, okay. And with this, we cover uh, all the topics for the translator role. I hope you can find all the information you need here. Uh, in the case of you go to the CEMEX Go site and you want to start translating everything right away, you might not uh, be able to modify everything right away because these changes are being rolled out as we speak. So in a couple of days, we and all the developers will have everything enabled so that you can start modifying this the way that is explained in this video. So thanks for watching. Have a nice translator.